Welcome to another episode of our economics lessons. Today, we are diving into the fascinating world of scarcity and limited resources. Have you ever wondered why we can't have everything we want? Or why some things are so much more expensive than others, even when we need them? Stick around as we explore these important economic concepts and uncover how they shape our everyday decisions. Let's start by defining scarcity. Scarcity means that there is not enough of a resource to meet all the wants and needs of people. This is a fundamental idea in economics. Picture this: you walk into a store and see a limited supply of your favorite toy. There are only a few left, but a lot of kids want one. This situation creates scarcity. Scarcity forces us to make choices because we cannot have everything we desire. When we choose one option, we give up the opportunity to choose another. This is called opportunity cost. For instance, if you decide to buy that toy, you may have to forego spending that money on a movie ticket or a new book. Scarcity is not just about physical items. It also includes time and even opportunities in life. Time is a limited resource because each of us has only so much of it each day. Similarly, we might face a scarcity of job opportunities in a tough economy, meaning fewer options for our future careers. Now, let's look at the different types of resources we discuss in economics. There are three main categories: natural resources, human resources, and capital resources. Natural resources are things that come from the earth. They include water, minerals, and forests. Human resources refer to people and their skills. If someone has training or education, they are bringing their human resources into the economy. Lastly, capital resources are tools and machinery used in the production of goods. Imagine a factory that produces toys. The machines and technology used in that factory are capital resources. Because resources are limited, communities and economies must find ways to allocate them effectively. But how do we decide who gets what? This is where economic systems come into play. Different countries have different systems for distributing resources. Some rely on markets, where prices and supply and demand control the allocation of resources. Others might have government-led approaches, where authorities decide what to produce and how to distribute it. Each system has its strengths and weaknesses. Another important concept related to scarcity is the diamond water paradox. This idea was introduced by the famous economist Adam Smith back in the 18th century. He noticed that water, which is essential for life, is usually very cheap, while diamonds, which are not necessary for survival, can be extremely expensive. How can this be? The answer lies in scarcity and what economists call marginal utility. Marginal utility refers to the value we place on additional units of a good. For water, since it is widely available and plentiful in many areas, its price remains low. But diamonds are rare, making each additional diamond highly sought after and valuable. So, the value of diamonds is not in their necessity but in their rarity. Understanding scarcity helps us make better choices. For example, when we think about our spending decisions, we often prioritize based on what we need most at the moment. If we have limited money, we might choose to buy groceries over luxury items. Similarly, businesses must decide how to allocate their resources, like whether to invest in new equipment or hire more workers. They must consider what will yield the highest benefit. Scarcity influences almost every decision we make, from personal budgeting to government spending. It drives innovation too. When resources are limited, people often come up with creative solutions. For example, when oil prices rise, people might begin to explore solar power or electric vehicles, showcasing how scarcity can lead to technological advancements. It's essential for young thinkers like you to recognize these connections in everyday life. The good news is there are many resources out there for you to learn more about scarcity and economics in general. Websites like EconLib offer insightful articles about scarcity and choice. Investopedia is another fantastic resource for clear explanations about economic concepts. And don't forget about Britannica, which has trusted entries on scarcity and resource management. Is there a certain resource that you think is scarce in your life? Maybe it's time or even something else? Think about how you would prioritize that resource. Would you spend it differently if you felt it was limited? These reflections can help deepen your understanding of scarcity. Remember, the implications of scarcity go beyond just economics. They touch on ethics, social values, and even environmental concerns. As you think about your role in the economy, consider how your choices reflect your values and how you can advocate for responsible resource management in your communities. Scarcity is a powerful concept, prompting each of us to evaluate our decisions and their impact on our world. Today, we explored the concept of scarcity, learning how it impacts the resources we use every day. We discussed the three types of resources: natural, human, and capital, and how scarcity necessitates making choices based on opportunity costs. We examined the diamond water paradox and how price relates not just to necessity but also to availability. We also delved into how scarcity drives innovation and resource allocation, shaping both individual choices and wider economic systems. Exploring these ideas helps us understand not just economics but how we engage with the world around us. Thank you for joining us in this enlightening exploration of scarcity and its meaning in economics. Remember, the choices you make today can impact your life and the world around you in significant ways. Keep asking questions and thinking critically about the resources in your life. Be sure to tune in next time for more economic insights and discoveries. Until then, stay curious and keep learning.